Hey you guys, this is Mr. Sal. We're going to write an equation for a line perpendicular to y equals 5x minus 2 and passing through the point -5, -4. Now before we start any problem solving on this, I first want to identify in the original line the slope, and that's the coefficient of x, which in this case is 5. So the slope of the line is 5. If we want a perpendicular slope, and this is the sign for perpendicular slope, I'm going to make that 5 over 1, and the reason why I want to do that is so that I can reciprocate it, and I will do that first. Reciprocation means I'm just going to flip that fraction, but a perpendicular line will not only have the reciprocal of the fraction, but the opposite. So that was originally a positive 5 over 1. It is now a negative 1 over 5. Next up, let's go and write the point slope form, the general point slope form of a line. And while doing this, we just need to remember that in the original point here that they gave us, this line has to go through this point -5, -4. So that's an x and a y value that are on that line. So this also means that the y1 and the x1 over here, we're going to replace with this -5 and -4. The -5 is the x value, and the -4 is the y value. So those two values, I've erased them so that I can replace them. The y value is -4, and the x value is -5. Now, just before we move on this thing, I've got y minus -4. Minus a negative is really going to make that plus, which will be important here in just a moment. And same with this x minus -5 right here, we're going to change that to x plus 5. The last thing we need to replace in this formula is the m. Now the m we found earlier, the perpendicular m right here, it is -1/5. Now from this I can solve this problem, and the first thing I would do if I were to solve this, or to simplify it, if you will, into slope-intercept form, is to distribute the -1/5 into the parentheses. And first off, -1/5 times 1x would be that -1/5 x. And then the second rainbow, -1/5 times 5 would be -1. So again, you could type that into your calculator, -1/5 times 5, and it will give you this -1 right here. So as of right now, my equation is y plus 4 equals -1/5 x minus 1. And the last thing I need is just for it to be y equals. So what I'm going to do is subtract 4 from both sides. And yeah, I put that under that -1 because they're like terms. It's going to zero that out and leave me with just the y. There's no other terms combined with this -1/5 x. And -1 minus 4 is -5. Now this right here is the answer in slope-intercept form. But before we finish this video, I want to show a different way to do it. And this way was preferred by most of the students in class. Now, the way we're going to do this, everything sets up the same, right? I mean, we still got y equals mx plus b. And yes, we already know the slope, right, from up here. In this, the slope is a -1/5 right there. The problem is we don't have the b value, but we could find it. And we should remember from class the formula for finding the b, just from manipulating slope-intercept form, is y minus mx. Now once again, we still have the slope at -1/5. And then we got the x and y value that this line goes through, and we could replace the x and y values with those two, and that would give us this. So just working through this, -1/5 times -5, that'd be a positive 1. So that would give us -4 minus 1, and then b equals -5 from -4 minus 1. So now I'm able to go into the equation and replace that b with -5, and you can see the two equations are exactly the same. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope that it helped you out and that you liked it. If so, just give it a thumbs up and like. We'll see you guys in the next video.